Good day, good day, good day to all of my friends out there circling the globe. Let me kick it off officially today with the hashtag Joyant, the hashtag Jubilant Monday video. First of all, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Second of all, thank you for joining my daily video to start this week. It's a pleasure for me to kick off this week. If this is your first time by, welcome. My name is Doug. This is Trade with Doug. And today, I think I've got a good stock for you guys. A stock you should know about. A stock that could potentially double, maybe even triple. Dare I say, octuple? Hashtag octuple? I don't even think that's a word. Anyway, all kidding aside, before we get started with today's video, if you guys need help with your personal trading, you're struggling in this market, or you just want to take your trading to another level, down in the description box will be a link. Feel free to follow that link and follow it to my live trading community. Now let's go ahead and talk about this. Now this ZDGE, I'm really going to look at it just from technicals. I'm not going to mess around with fundamentals on this because we've seen a lot of stocks that look like that. And the first thing my eye catches with this is, boy, does this ever remind me of what we saw with VUZI. V-U-Z-I. Now, if you guys watched that video, you're going to know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, take a moment after this one and kind of watch it, but I'll give you kind of the sprinkle over top of it and just the gist. There's always these stocks we see every year that go from single digits up towards $50 to $100, sometimes even more. A good example of this is several years ago, I actually remember trading NVIDIA when people hated NVIDIA at $14 and they thought it was overbought. And after today, I'm looking at it, it's like $614. Now, I'm not saying that any of these have that type of potential. That was several years ago. But, you know, all of these great stocks you see were once low-cost, cheaper stocks. And some of these have made some tremendous moves. Now, if we go back to pre-election, like a couple of days before the election, this really started this small cap madness in the market where we have seen so many stocks explode from single digit prices up into double digits, and some have gone beyond. Now, one thing I explained in the VUZI video is I want you to look at these stocks oftentimes like passing the baton. And this is the same thing that happened with Roku, same thing that happened with Peloton and many others. When they were in their infancy, is when you're starting out with these lower cost stocks, in the very beginning parts, they are dominated mostly by retail traders. At some point, it will attract the attentions of institutions. Now, I shouldn't use the word attract attention. I should use that most institutions and funds are not permitted to buy low cost stocks. They have to meet certain criteria, and most of them do not. So they can't take these investor monies for most of them and put it into speculative assets like this. But once they reach a certain level, they begin to consume it. And you're seeing that, I believe, in VUZI, where it's like passing the baton. The retail traders pick the stock up, they push it to a certain level, then it gets consumed by funds, which takes it to an astronomical level. Now, the other thing that you have with these is how this process works. So when you're looking at a stock, I don't know the whole history here, so I will tell you this that I am for sure of. There's no question. This is exactly what's happened, and I know this from experience. When this thing breaks out, you got this earnings right here, and I'm going back to December. Okay, so this is all the way in December, which isn't really that far in the past, okay? And you get this stock, which is trading just around $3 and spikes instantly to $6. Now, that's 100%. So forget about the hashtag octupler, which isn't a word. Forget about that. I mean, this thing just goes up 100%, right? Now, at that point, everybody's thinking it's a piece of crap. We're going to short this. I get it. And they try the shorting thing, and it just keeps going up. And they're probably still doing it, and eventually you reach this euphoric emotional moment. Now, what is this defined as? This becomes a point where traders are beginning to enter these trades over here based off of technicals, based off of trends, or they have, let me give them credit and say legitimate reasons for entering. At some point, people get tired of watching it go up and just haphazardly, I say haphazardly because emotions override their intellect and things they know about trading, and they just go into a fear of missing out mode and just start throwing money on it. And that's why you often see these things explode. Now, it's very, very difficult for any stock, I mean any stock, to sustain the majority of its parabolic. I mean, look at Tesla. It goes straight up there to 800. Yes, that's a lot, but it pulled back a few $100s. Now it's basing and trying to set up. So it happens to the best of them. You look at Fubo. It was 20, 30, went straight to 60, then pulled all the way back to 20. So when you have these parabolic moves, it's very hard for any stock under any circumstances to sustain that. And the reason why is because it's emotionally generated, not intellectually generated. And most market participants know that. Now what this thing does is it backtests it again, Then it has another earnings. So these earnings are turning out to be very good. I'm not a fundamental guy, but I'm going to say that the growth potential in this stock, that whatever they've got going on here, the earnings reflection here, again, like they say, show me the chart, I'll show you the news. I'm assuming that after two extreme moves out of earnings, that this company is doing very good or impressing investors that they feel like they want to invest. So I don't need to look at anything else but the chart to understand that. The thing that you have here that reminds me of a VUSI, and remember this happened to all stocks. Like I said, Roku was once $20. I remember trading it was 20. Look where it's at now. That every time these stocks go up like this, the first thing that you have to understand is that they're hated. They're hated by people because they maybe not understand the business model. They might not understand how a stock could go up so much, or that the theory that it has to come down. Well, that's not always true. They don't have to come down. They can go a lot further. Remember the famous market quote, the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. This business is always going to be measured on buyers and sellers. If the market dictates this price, not us. If there are willing participants to purchase this asset at this price, then you can best be sure it will go higher. If they find this to be too expensive, they won't. And that's simple mathematics and logic when it comes to markets. So you've got a really, really good look here. A couple of higher lows to work with, and you had a really nice move. Now, something I mentioned in Fubo's video. Here's the way I look at this. I would like to see this chart build some constructive behavior in this area. What do I mean? I mean, I'd like to see, you see how this back here, guys, this constructive consolidation, where this chart is retaining its gains, it's holding on to the gains, and really what that means is short sellers aren't winning the battle in this case. Not only are short sellers not winning, but the people who own it and the longs are not being shaken out of the position. They're convicted longs, right? And then ultimately it will break that consolidation and begin these massive run-ups. What we would like to see here, and this is where we talk about entry prices are paramount and how to get on the right side. We would like to see, ideally, a period of consolidation that moves in between, I'd say, $12 and $15. And put that together for a good 5+ days of just solid trading. Now, why we need this is you need to see periods of time where the stock gets attacked by sellers, because its ability to rebound, its ability to stand up and rally after that is usually the hallmark of a stock that has intentions of going higher. So when you recipe all of this together and you look at what was the difference of NVIDIA's, Roku's, and Peloton's, what's the difference of those stocks? They're all brands that people didn't understand in the beginning, especially something like a Peloton. A cheap stock, it's just a bicycle. You can buy cheap bikes anywhere. The first thing is the denial of the understanding of the business. The short sellers hitting it and not having any success. People continuing to buy it. Quarter after quarter explosive earnings. Now again, I don't know the whole history here with ZDGE, but you are seeing obviously consistent quarters of growth. So there must be something there. I'm almost positive that there is. But you got a really, really nice chart. Now there's something else. I want to see that because what you're looking at today, I'm going to just back this down and try to show you the intraday chart. Something I'm not real fond of here is the early morning parabolic action right here, followed by this sell-off. Now I mentioned that when I did Fubo over the weekend, is Fubo a buy? And what you saw there was just basic common sense, guys, when we talked about it. The latter of what I thought was actually happened. And that is when you're getting a sell-off that's aggressive like that, it shouldn't give back that much. So you had this opportunity for Fubo to break out, and then it gives back too much of the gains. And I told you, look, that's not a very good sign. what happens on Monday is it continues that selling, and now you're even lower. So one of the things here about ZDGE that's a tiny bit concerning, but it's not as aggressive, let me pull it back up, is that this pulled back a little bit here. So I don't want to see this go underneath of here today. I want to see it retain this area, build some structure, then move up into the 20s and possibly the 25. So what is the deal? How are we going to trade this? Right now, I don't think you have a trade on this either short or long. Right now, it doesn't. It's just not set up well. You're going to need some test of this recent move. Unless you picked it up here off of support, you're either going to trade back into this area of support and you're going to hold it. Then maybe the stock will solidify that area and move higher. Or you need to get some sideways trading here since you're in the center of between the top of this peak and this peak, that you're dead center, that you're going to need some sideways consolidation and then a break of the highs and then possibly a move to 20. So here's what you may see. Two different scenarios. A sell-off into here, followed by a base, then a rally. That could be series number 1, and maybe trade number 2 is some haggling, followed by a bounce. If you don't get that, and you get this continuing relentlessness straight up into here, I don't think you really have that good of a trade either. You're going to need this to be tested in some sort to solidify that there's enough buying pressure to move you to 20. On the other hand, if you catch any move that starts doing this, just take it off your list for a buy. If it's unable to hold up this range after being tested back here, then again after 3 times spanning from February to now, then there's just no way. There is a way, but it's unlikely that it will continue this bull run. So remember that. You're seeing that, I think, like with PLTR that I featured. The longer they stay down there, the longer they keep breaking lower levels after momentum, the more days that go by, the less the momentum will be there and the chart will just succumb to the pressure. And that's just the way it goes, guys. Some of these become winners, some of them become losers. They just won't make it, and that's the world of business, right? Some live, some die, and that's just how it is. So anyway, I hope you liked this video on ZDGE. Let me know your thoughts about it. Let me know if you're trading it. Let me know what you know about it. Let me know what you like about it, what you hate about it. Let me know any other stocks that you might be trading or anything that you'd like me to feature. Until the next video, guys, I really appreciate your support. Give the video a thumbs up, a like, whatever. Follow the channel. I really appreciate it. Take care. Talk to you soon.